life. During school, I was the star pupil. During my business years, always the top producer. And in life, well, they called me Superwoman because I could do anything. I would run around. I could get to that 7:30 breakfast meeting, and from there get to the florist to pick up flowers for your luncheon, to get to the speaker, and from there do a 2 o'clock mastermind, and after that, I would pick up 2 more raffle items for Carol's fundraiser tomorrow night. I just did it. But something finally forced me to calm down, to stop this running around. I had a heart attack. You see, I would spend each day running around, doing things, helping people, taking care of everything. I liked this busy lifestyle. That lifestyle gave me this busyness that filled me with energy and excitement and a sense of confidence. I would get a shot of adrenaline every time I checked something off my list. That felt good. I liked the adrenaline. I think I was hooked on busyness. I learned later that those adrenaline shots are called good stress. But something wasn't right. I had an ache in my collarbone, and I was sometimes short of breath, and a lot of times I'd be lightheaded. And the fatigue, oh my word, I was so tired. So I knew something wasn't right, but I didn't have time to go get checked out because I was so busy, I had too much to do. I don't have time to go to the doctor. So I did what we women do best, and that is push right through it. I learned later that these signs that I just told you about are symptoms of heart attack in women. The shortness of breath, the things I just described to you. Now, why didn't I know that? Because when I think about a heart attack, I think about the movies and watching a man have a heart attack. You know the kind? He has beads of sweat on his forehead, and there's pain radiating down his arm. He clutches his chest and falls to the floor. We call those Hollywood heart attacks. And I didn't have anything like that. And to be honest, those things I described to you, I had a great excuse for each one. You see, I was tired because my pillow was too flat. I didn't have time to get a new pillow, and so I just was tired all the time. I was short of breath because I talked too fast. I just talked too fast with my short breath. I was lightheaded because I stood up too fast. And that collarbone thing, you know, I've always had a stiff shoulder, and I can get it worked out, I get a massage, but I didn't have time to get a massage because I'm too busy, I have too much to do. So I kept going, I kept doing these things. I will tell you that it finally came down to it. One day, I felt really bad. And I was having these symptoms, and I decided to go ahead and get everything done. And I was preparing for my class that I was putting on, and I began feeling badly, so I decided that I should call the doctor. I called her, and she said, "I'm sorry, he's out of town." And I said, "Well, who's covering for him? Who can I see?" And she said, "Well, it sounds like you should call a cardiologist or go to the nearest emergency room." I said, "I can't go to the emergency room, I have too much to do." I forgot to tell you something about the part. 8 years ago, this is when this cracked open for me. I was preparing for a writing class that I was giving the next morning. And I'd gone to the grocery store to buy food and snacks for my students, and I reached up for a pack of cookies, and they fell to the floor. And I knew that if I leaned all the way over, I would faint. And I wasn't going to faint in the cookie aisle in Safeway. Because then the paramedics would come, and they'd take me to the ER, and it would completely lettuce and it wasn't on there. So I left the cookies on the floor and drove home. And I had to put those groceries away, but then I decided to call the doctor. And that's when we had the conversation about, he's not here today. So anyway, she says, it sounds like you should call a cardiologist or go to the nearest emergency room. And I said, I can't go to the ER. I have too much to do. And she said, you can't do anything if you're dead.
Uh-huh.
So, luckily, I had a cardiologist to call. They found my file, booked me in, and hooked me up to an EKG. Dr. Marshall walks in, and he was looking at this thing, going up and down, and up and down. He says, Susan, you're having a heart attack right now. You have to go to the emergency room. Okay. So I get there at TMC. I'm rushed in, placed on a gurney, and within minutes, I'm in a cardiac cath lab having a stent put in my heart. When I didn't improve by the next day, they put another stent in a different artery. Well, you know what? When they put in those stents and your arteries are open, you feel great. I said, okay, let's go, I'm done. They said, no, you can't go home yet. Your numbers are not good. My numbers are not good. I didn't understand it, but they fitted me with a defibrillator life vest. This is a contraption, ladies, that looks like a sports bra, but inside it's covered with wires and cords and sensors. There's a 2-pound battery pack, and there's silver paddles in the back that will shock you if you have a heart attack. I said, okay, I'll bear it because that's how I'm going to get out of here. So finally, after 4 days, I was released, and I went home. So thankful to be alive, and I'm home, and I'm dead, and I said, okay, I'm going to follow doctor's orders. Here we go. Cardiac rehab, 3 times a week, check. Eat heart-healthy meals, check. Take those medications daily, morning and night, check. Last one. Eliminate stress from your life. Wait. He said, doctor, you know that good stress that we talked about, that good stress that got me going and gave me confidence and helped me get through the day and everything. And he said, can I just keep that one? He said, let it go. Oh my gosh, this is hard. Okay, so I said, okay. So I'm trying to do this, and I have to let go of everything. I can't do so many things anymore. And I couldn't do it. I needed help. I had to get therapy. And my therapist was great. The first thing she did, she diagnosed me with grief. I was grieving my healthy body, my vibrant energy, that fun life that I used to have that I couldn't do anymore. And I was grieving. And she said, Susan, I can help you. Here's what you do. I said, tell me, I'll do it. I'll do it again. She said, you have to let it go. Let it all go. I said, I took a big breath and I had tears in my eyes. I said, okay, I'll try. So that meant I was creating my new normal, and I started my new normal. That meant spending more time with my husband, more time with my children, more time with my grandkids, going to lunch with friends, going to see the movies, reading a novel, writing a story, going to that antique mall and spending an hour and touching everything and not buying anything, just relaxing. I'm retired. I should have been relaxing all along. So this new normal was coming to me. The old me used to say yes to everything. The new me had to learn to say no. I had to changing my life. So we've all heard the old saying, life is short, so make the most of it. And believe you me, I think about it every day. And I know because my doctors have done everything they can do to make me and my heart as good as it can be. And that means it's up to me to keep it that way. And that means saying no to something I desperately want to do then so be it, because life is short. Thank you.